Hello student. Today we are going to study about chapter 13 of class 11, that is photosynthesis in higher plants. And the topic which we are discussing today is chemiosmotic hypothesis. This mechanism occurs in the light reaction where both the photosystems, photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 is present. This is the diagram of thylakoid membrane. The mechanism of chemoosmosis occurs within the chloroplast, and within the chloroplast it occurs in the thylakoid. That is the structure that resembles the pile of coins in chloroplast. Within that pile of coin, that is thylakoid, the chemoosmosis occurs. Once the light is transferred to photosystem 2, the photolysis of water takes place. And this photolysis of water occurs in the inner membrane of the thylakoid membrane, where the light has been absorbed at 680 nanometer. After that, the electrons are accepted by cytochrome B and cytochrome F, which is then further transported to photosystem 1. Now, there are two enzymes that are involved in chemiosmotic hypothesis. First is NADPH reductase and another one is ATP synthase. In this mechanism, ATP is synthesized in the chloroplast, and in photosynthesis, this synthesis of ATP is linked to the development of hydrogen ions or H plus ions that leads to the development of proton gradient across a membrane from stroma to lumen. Now the function of cytochrome B and F is to transfer the hydrogen ions to the lumen of the thylakoid membrane and to transport the electrons from PS2 to PS1. So this is acting as an electron transporter, and here they are acting as a hydrogen acceptor. Now the question comes, how the hydrogen ions enters into the lumen of thylakoid membrane. So when the photolysis of water occurs in PS2, then the hydrogen and electrons are formed after splitting up of water, thereby causing their excitation and the activation, which are then utilized by cytochrome B and F to transport those electrons to PS1. Then this activation and excitation results in the entry of hydrogen ions into the lumen of the thylakoid, thereby making the proton gradient inside the lumen, and the concentration of hydrogen ions in the stroma is lesser than that of inside the lumen. Thus, the events that takes place in the chemoosmosis are: first is splitting of water molecule that occurs inside the inner membrane of the thylakoid, which helps the hydrogen ions or the proton ions that are produced by the splitting of water accumulate within the lumen of thylakoids. Now the enzyme NADP reductase enzyme is located on the stroma side of the membrane along with electrons that come from the acceptor of electrons PS1 that are necessary for the reduction of NADP plus to NADPH2. These protons are then removed from the stroma. The gradient is important for the production or the breakdown of this gradient leads to the release of energy, that is in the form of ATP and NADPH2. Now, the hydrogen ions so formed break down to the movement of protons across the membrane to the stroma through the transmembrane channel, that is F0, F1 of the ATPase. These ATPase or the ATP synthase enzyme consists of two parts. One is F0, which is embedded in the membrane and forms a transmembrane channel that facilitates the diffusion of protons across the membrane. And the other one is F1 that protrudes on the outer surface of the thylakoid membrane on the sides that faces the stroma. The breakdown of the gradient then provides energy to cause the conformational change in the F1 part of the ATPase, which makes the enzyme to synthesize using inorganic phosphate and adenosine diphosphate to form ATP, that is the energy currency of the cell. Hence, the mechanism results into the formation of energy currency, that is NADPH2 and ATP. Therefore, we can say that the enzyme NADPH reductase and ATP synthase results into the formation of energy currency, that is NADPH2 and ATP, which are then used by the biosynthetic phase to form the product or the glucose. Next, we will be studying about biosynthetic pathway or biosynthetic phase. C3 cycle or Calvin cycle occurs in the dark reaction. In this biosynthetic phase, the dark reaction occurs where the products that are formed in the light reaction are used up here, and this reaction occurs in the absence of light. In biosynthetic phase where the foods are formed, they undergo two paths. One is C3 cycle or Calvin cycle, and other is C4 or Hatch-Slack pathway, which we will be doing after the Calvin cycle. So the Calvin cycle or C3 cycle occurs in the mesophyll cells of leaves that carries the chloroplast. And another question arises, that is why it is called C3 cycle. So the reason behind that why it is called C3 cycle is that the first stable product that is formed after carboxylation is the C3 compound, and that is phosphoglyceric acid. Because of this production of stable C3 compound, the cycle is called as C3 cycle. Now let us start with the cycle, which starts with C5 carbon, that is ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate. This reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme Rubisco or ribulase. RUBP is ribulase bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase enzyme. In this reaction, there is formation of C6 compound after the addition of carboxylation, that is the fixation of carbon dioxide into the stable organic intermediate, and this is the crucial step of Calvin cycle where carbon dioxide is utilized for the carboxylation of RUBP. After this, the C6 compound is formed, that is C5 plus 1 addition of carbon dioxide results into the formation of C6, which is an intermediate, thereby leading to the formation of two molecules of C3 compound, that is two molecules of phosphoglyceric acid. After that formation of C3 compound, that is the first stable compound of Calvin cycle, the C3 compound then undergoes the reduction process. This leads to the formation of glucose, where the two molecules of ATP for phosphorylation and 2 of ADP for production per carbon dioxide is fixed, and the fixation of 6 molecules of carbon dioxide is done, thereby removal of one glucose material, that is one carbon is released, and then it results into the formation of glucose after the 6 cycles of C3 or the Calvin cycle. In this reduction process, one ATP is formed per glyceric acid or per C3 molecule. So therefore, we will be having 2 ATPs here and 2 NADPH formation here. Thereby, with the production of one carbon at the triose sugar, there will be the formation of C3 plus, since one carbon is removed, the compound will be formed as C5, which undergoes the regeneration process, and regeneration of carbon dioxide acceptor molecule, that is RUBP, is formed, which is again helping for the production of one ATP, or one ATP is used for phosphorylation to form RUBP. Therefore, we can say in the Calvin cycle or C3 cycle, when one carbon is released, that means one cycle results into the release of one carbon and 3 ATP molecules are utilized, 2 here at the reduction process and 1 after the regeneration process. Thereby, when the 6 cycles of C3 occurs to release one glucose molecule, then 16 ATPs will be utilized. Similarly, one cycle results into the utilization of 2 NADPH at the reduction process, then 6 cycles results into the utilization of 12 NADPH molecules. Thank you for watching C3 cycle and the chemoosmotic hypothesis. In the next video, we will be studying about C4 cycle or Hatch-Slack cycle. Thank you.